So what I want to talk about with regards to Android, try to tie it into the tools theme, is SDKs. So we recently released a new device, the HTC One M8. With that, we released shortly after launch a SDK for the dual lens SDK. And for all the developer needs, we have a dedicated website, htcdev.com, showing up here. We provide several services with this site. In addition to providing SDKs, we also provide the ability for those interested in kernel source code to do, ROM modding. They can get access to the GPL required source code, the kernel source. We also provide some incentives for developers who use HTC SDKs, and I'll talk about that a little bit. What I want to focus today is, first of all, why? Why develop for an SDK for a specific OEM? So what we found is that a lot of people confuse innovation with fragmentation, not the same thing. You want to really reach, as a goal as an Android developer, all the platforms you can, all the devices. On Android, we have our standard Android SDK, of course, but a lot of what's new in the core framework was introduced first by OEMs. So going back in time, HTC's first introduced the front-facing camera. There wasn't an API then, so we had to scramble and create one. And then eventually everything gets folded back into the core Android framework. That's very important. And that's why it's innovation. Because of AOSP, it's an open platform. We can add new APIs before they're ready. Another example, a couple of years ago we introduced the Bluetooth Low Energy API, and that was before it got introduced in 4.3. So obviously when 4.3 comes out, we deprecate our OEM-specific API, and we totally embrace the standard, of course. So we're innovating, and that's why it's important for you to try to reach out to as many OEM SDKs. And don't just use HTC, use every OEM's SDK. Just make sure you don't do it in the proper way so that you can just deploy it once. In other words, the APK, have it smart enough to know what device it's on, and if it has a certain use it. So you can port existing apps to use our SDK. So a little more about the specific SDK I want to talk about. And I'm going to do a little demos, again, on the actual phone to give you an idea. And one of the reasons we have this projecting is because for some of these demos, it's really difficult to do the on-screen, on-laptop monitor, using Android screen monitor. The frame rate is really so slow to really appreciate the big features. So we've introduced this SDK in the beginning of April. We have two versions of this SDK. We have an open sense version, which means you can go to htcdev.com right now and download it. We also have a partner version of the SDK that gives you a little more capabilities. And if you're interested, please reach out to us. We like to work with partners who are really interested in just more than what we offer in the open API. And in the past, what we've done is we would introduce SDKs as partner-only SDKs, and then we would open it up to everyone. So hopefully this will be the case as we add more features. And newer devices will, of course, have more capabilities. But we've done a little press about Dual Lens API. I'm just curious, how many have heard about the Dual Lens API before? That's why I'm here to tell you about it. So like I said, we've done a little press about it. Some people are really excited. Some people are saying, is it a gimmick? Because in the past, we've had a device, the Evo 3D, that was a stereoscopic, had a special screen, a dual barrier screen that allowed you to watch 3D movies and so forth. Remember, that was during the 3D craze. Everyone was getting 3D TVs. Well, you can guess what happened to that. Only a few OEMs embraced that, and then it didn't really catch on. This is different. It's got two cameras, but it's not a stereoscopic camera. As you can see here, they're placed differently. They're not meant to do 3D in the traditional form that you're thinking of 3D. It's really, and it's really more than just the 3D effect that I will show. It does have a what I call 2D plus effect, but you can do a lot of more effects using the information from the second camera. So think of it as a sensor rather than a dual camera. I know we're calling it dual camera or dual lens, but if you think of it as a depth sensor, then you get more of an idea of what the capabilities are. I had two videos here to show you a little more in depth, but I'm going to actually skip that and just go through it with a couple of slides here. One effect that you can do that we call U-focus is the ability to focus on the foreground or the background. Depending where on the picture you touch, you'll see the focus change. And how does that happen? How does that work? Well, because the photo has the information needed to create a depth map, we can do this to any of the photos after it's been taken. So this is post taking photo, and you just simply take any of the photos taken by the M8 device, and you can apply an effect like this one. And so it's interactive. You can, like I said, use depth map information to create an effect like this, like U-focus. Now, if you use your imagination, you can start thinking of different effects that work the same way. And I'll show you some on the camera a little bit. Another thing is, again, using the depth map information, we can change the background. So here you can make it a little artistic, make the background a different color, make it black and white, make it, have some drawing effects on the background or the foreground. So you can do that. And again, a lot of these effects are built into the camera, into the image editing that comes with M8. But again, we're providing these APIs so you can start thinking of different effects. This is an effect that it shows you, and it's better when I show it on the phone, but basically you have different like the seasons, meaning the snow and the fall will be leaves. And you can have it so that it animates your photo. And you can do it in a clever way so that there's some depth as well. And it's not just, on the forefront. Dimension Plus, I'm going to skip because it's better to show it. Basically, it gives you the visual effect of 3D by moving your phone. Cut and paste, you can insert people behind you, in front of you, between other people. So these are the type of effects and applications we're trying to allow developers to do. So here are some of the specs on the sensor camera. For those who really need that information, but I'm going to focus more on the API. Again, some of the science behind this. And this doesn't really illustrate it that well. It's just the best I can do for a diagram right now. But essentially, the sensor allows you with some math, some basic Pythagorean theorem for starters. It's much more than that. Between the angles of both cameras, you can determine. You can technically determine distance, but you can also determine depth. So what happens when you snap that picture is that both the information from both cameras is stored, and from using algorithms and some post processing, you can determine the depth for